Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Treasure Peter. On today's tutorial I'll be showing you guys how to make this beautiful bomber jacket. I will take my time to show you in details how to cut and sew this bomber jacket, and it's beginners friendly. Do well to watch till the end and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So guys, to make this bomber jacket, I'll be making use of 2 yards of Ankara fabric. This Ankara fabric is not 100% cotton. And I'll also make use of this bomber jacket elastic. I got it for 1,000 naira in the market. It's actually 2-piece. I'll be making use of 2-piece. I think 2-piece should be enough for anybody. And I also make use of this lining. This is just a normal lining. And then I'll make use of this rubber zip. You can actually use any beautiful fancy zip, but I preferred a rubber zip. That's why I'm making use of it. So let's go straight into the cutting, guys. So guys, I had gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4. I folded it into 2, then folded it into 4 at once. When you fold, try to make it to be the bust circumference divided by 4 as your width, and add extra 3 to 4 inches allowance because it's a bomber jacket. So guys, the first thing I did was I had to check the width of the length actually of this bomber jacket elastic. So it's actually 2.5 inches on fold, and I'm going to take it out from the length. So that means that the length of the bomber jacket I wanted to work with is 23 inches, but I'm going to subtract it from the 23 inches. So instead of taking 23 inches, I'm marking it at 21 inches, which means that I'm going to attach the down part to give me the original length of this bomber jacket. I proceeded to mark across. But guys, I'll suggest that you make your length longer because I feel a bomber jacket should actually be longer and not just like a normal top. The next thing I did was I went ahead to mark my zip allowance at 1.5 inches. So guys, I proceeded to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2 and I marked what I had. So my original shoulder measurement is 14 inches, but I'm adding extra ½ inch because it's a bomber jacket. So instead of 14 inches, I'm making use of 15 inches. And I proceeded to just mark it like this. The next thing I did was to measure the neck. So for the neck, I used a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 1.5 inch. This is for the back side. I'm going to extend the depth of the front later when we are done cutting the back. Then I proceeded to connect it like this. I came down with 1 inch for the shoulder slants and connected it back to the neckline like this. Then after that, I proceeded to take my chest line measuring, taking the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. I marked what I had and then I drew the line across. And then on the chest line, I also proceed to take my shoulder measurements divided by 2. And then I connected the line from the shoulder line to meet with my chest line. This is just a repetition of what we usually do on this channel. I'm just doing this for the sake of beginners. So from there on the chest line, I marked my bust measurement divided by 4, and then I added my allowance. For the allowance, I added extra 2 inches allowance, but when I'm sewing it, I'm going to sew it with 1 inch because the bomber jacket doesn't have to be tight. So I kept 1 inch allowance for ease and 1 inch for sewing. So I went ahead to just curve my armhole, and then the same thing I took for my bust is what I'm going to take down because it's a bomber jacket. I just went ahead to connect it straight like so, and that is it for the drafting of this bomber jacket. I'll go ahead to cut it out at this point. Before then, I proceeded to add ½ inch allowance at the shoulder because I'm cutting directly on my fabric. This is it after cutting it. I went ahead to separate the back from the front, and then for the front, I'm going to be taking out the armhole a little bit again. This is just to prevent puffiness around this armhole area. And then for the neck, I'll be using a neck depth of 3 inches. I proceeded to measure it and then use my free hand to curve it out and form the round neck. So guys, to save time, I went ahead to cut out the sleeves of the camera, and I've done several tutorials on how to cut the sleeves. I'm going to drop one on the description box below, so you go ahead to check it in case you want to learn. The actual length of my long sleeves is 22 inches, but instead I cut it at 20.5, and this is because I'm going to be attaching the down part of the elastic band. And then for the width, the actual width of my sleeves at the wrist area is actually 10 inches, but instead of 10 inches I added extra 2.5 inches, so the extra inches will be for ease as well as seam allowance. I proceeded to cut the linings for all the parts of this bomber jacket. I separated the linings from the material itself, and I'm going to be joining it material to material and lining to lining. So I proceeded to join the shoulder part to the shoulder part. I did the same thing for the lining, and I also proceeded to join the sleeves to the armhole part, and I also did the same thing to the lining. But guys, since this is a bomber jacket, I noticed that I needed to interface it, especially because the material is not 100% cotton. So I went ahead to interface it with my paper stay before joining it back again. So this is it. After I was done interfacing and rejoining it, the next thing I did was I proceeded to join the sides with 1 inch allowance. I will do the same thing to the lining. This is what I have after joining it. So as you can see, it was 1 inch that I used in joining it. That means I have extra 1 inch ease allowance. In total, 2 inches ease allowance. The next thing we are going to be doing is to fix the bomber jacket pocket. So for the pocket, I went ahead to cut this piece of fabric. So for the pocket, I'm going to be showing you guys there are 2 ways to actually do this pocket. One part is to do it as a welt pocket, and I've done a video of a gown where I did a welt pocket. I'm going to link it in my description box below in case you want to use that method. The other part is to just attach the pocket to the front side, which is what I will be doing. So the width of this pocket is 9 inches and the length is 9 inches. So I proceeded to just keep it like this from the zip allowance part, and I took out the zip allowance, which was 1.5 inches. From the 1.5 inches, I marked out 3.5 inches. And then from the down part at the side part, I came up with 4 inches, and then I connected it to form the pocket opening in a slant form. And I had to confirm that it was at least 6 to 7 inches because that is where the hand is supposed to pass from. Then I proceeded to cut it out. So guys, these are the pockets. I went ahead to also interface it with the paper stay and also cut out the linings for the facing. I went ahead to cut out the black piece of this bomber jacket elastic, and I use a width of about 2.5 inches, and then the length is the length of this pocket mouth. So I'll just go ahead to fold it into 2 like this, and then I'll go ahead to attach it on the pocket area. Make sure that the folded part is facing the material side, and then I'll go ahead to join it off the camera. This was what I had after joining it. I made sure that at least 1/2 inch of it is showing. So the next thing I'll do is to take the lining and place it in order to turn that joining part in, and I'll also turn this other upper part. But for this other straight side, I won't turn it because I'm going to be placing it around the zipper allowance part. And I'll also turn this other down side, and that is it guys. I'll do that off the camera and show you guys what I have. So guys, this was what I had after turning them. See how they are looking very fine already. Our pocket side is ready, so I'll just go ahead to place this on the zipper allowance part, and I'll just sew it at the edge and also sew it down, and then sew this one to just place on it, and also sew this other side, and that is it. I'll do the same thing for this other side. So guys, this is it after I was done sewing the pocket. The next thing we are going to do is to attach the down part. For it, I had gone ahead to cut out this bomber jacket elastic, and I also cut out the Ankara because I wanted to show at the beginning part first, before the bomber jacket elastic continues. So in order to do that, first I took out my zipper allowance measurement, which was 1.5 inch, and then from that 1.5 inch I measured about 5 inches for the width, but for the length I made sure it's the same as this bomber jacket elastic. For the width of the bomber jacket elastic, I actually took my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 28 inches, but for the width of this I use about 18 inches, and this means that if I add my 5 inches, which is into 2, to the 18 inches, I'm going to be having 28 inches. I did not actually take into consideration the allowance for the joining because the bomber jacket elastic is stretchy. So that is it, guys. So we'll go ahead to just attach it to the bomber jacket elastic in this manner. I'll join one on one end and join the other one at the other end. This was what I had after joining it. As you can see, I went ahead to just bring it out to the right side, and then the next thing I'll do is to go ahead to join it to the down part. So to attach it to this down part, you first need to start from this Ankara part and join it and stop at the Ankara part. Do not join the elastic part first, and also go ahead to join the other Ankara part to this other Ankara part before joining the elastic part. For the elastic part, you have to drag it while joining it. After joining it, this was what we had. As you can see, the elastic part was dragged while sewing, and this is why it is like this, but it will fit because we actually use the waist measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to just attach the neck. In order to do that, I went ahead to measure to know my neck circumference, leaving the allowance for zip. So from the zipper allowance, I proceeded to measure around the neck circumference so I can cut the neck, the bomber jacket elastic for the neck. So I had 18 inches after measuring round, and I proceeded to fold the bomber jacket elastic into 2, and then I folded it again into 2 in this manner. And I proceeded to measure what I had when I took my neck circumference. I had 18 inches divided by 2. I have about 9 inches, so I measured 9 inches, and then I proceeded to cut it out in a curved form. So just watch the way I'm cutting out the neck. See how I'm curving it from the other end. So guys, this was what I had after cutting out the neck. I proceeded to measure round again to confirm that it's up to the neck circumference. So I'll just go ahead to attach it from one end to the other end with half an inch. So guys, if yours is not enough while attaching it, you can as well drag the elastic to make sure that it's enough. I'll join it off the camera and show you guys what I have. After attaching it, this was what I had. See how fine the neck is looking already. It's looking so fine, and our jacket is almost ready. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to use the lining to turn the neck as well as the down part. To do that, I proceeded to just place the lining the right side, facing the right side, and then I went ahead to just join it with the neck to turn it in. So I went ahead to also do the same thing to the down part. I'll also do the same thing to the down part of the jacket. I'll just go ahead to join it in like this. Place it the right sides of the lining to the right side of the jacket, and then just go ahead to join it in. After joining it, this was what I had for the neck and the down part. So I'll just go ahead to wear the lining into the material. I'll just go ahead to wear the lining into, just wear the sleeves into the sleeves of this material like this. So we are going to have a very neat finishing. I'll do the same thing to the other sleeves, and then the next thing we are going to do is to just attach the band for the sleeves and then fix our zip, and our jacket will be ready. For the sleeves part, I had to fold it in this manner before hemming it. So I just folded it in the lining and the material like this, and then I went ahead to sew it round to just hem it. This is because I do not want to weave it. I just want it to look neat after joining it. Take notes of the joinings while doing this. So guys, after that, this is what I had. This is how it looks like after I was done doing it. See how it's looking neat already. I did the same thing to the zipper allowance part, so there will be no need for me to weave it. It's looking neat already. So the final thing I'll be doing is to fix the band for the sleeves. For the width of the band, I used my round sleeves measurement at the wrist level. I subtracted 1 inch because it's an elastic. Then I went ahead to join it into 2 like this, and I'll do the same thing to this other side. So guys, this was what I had after joining it. I'll just go ahead to bring it out like this, and then I'll go ahead to sew on it to just attach it together, and I'll proceed to join it to the sleeves. While joining it, you notice that the sleeves is actually bigger than it, so you make sure to drag it while joining it, and make sure to join the joining part to align with the joining part of the sleeves. So guys, this is it after joining it. See how it's looking very fine and neat. There is actually no need to weave it at this point. So I'm done with the sleeves, and last thing and the final thing I'm going to be doing is to fix the zip. So I'll just go ahead to fix the zip. This is a rubber zip. I'll attach it off the camera and show you guys what I have. So guys, this is the final look of this bomber jacket. Look at how it's looking, so neat and so beautiful. It is looking so neat and it is looking so beautiful. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched up to this point, please don't forget to hit that like button, and also do well to subscribe if you've not, and also turn on your notification bell so that whenever I drop more videos, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.